Hello and welcome to Google Docs tutorial number 3. In this one we're going to be working with images and text formatting. Click on the link, it should bring up a new tab in your browser, and this will have this video that you're watching right now, and it will be it'll have all of the tutorial information. So what we want to kind of accomplish in this one is to look at some of the more advanced capabilities of a word processor. Like at its core, and the primary use case for a word processor is to process text, to write letters, to write papers, essays, reports, things like that. But as kind of an alternative, a word processor can be used as a desktop publishing app. It's not quite as full-featured for this purpose as an actual dedicated publishing app like Adobe InDesign or Microsoft Publisher, but for pretty simple jobs, it actually gets the job done. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a flyer, kind of a ripoff of a popular internet meme, which you may click the link to find out more about, if you're into that sort of thing. So for this one, there are actually two different start files. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take, so the start file is a Google Docs file in my Google Docs account. You do not have permission to edit it. And so what you'll have to do is make a copy of it into your Google Docs. So if I go to the start file right here and I click, don't worry about getting the start image quite yet, but go to the start file, click open in new tab. And this is where it'll start. And you won't be able to do anything with the file as it is. So what you have to do to fix that is go to File and click Make a Copy. And then stick it somewhere where you'll be able to find it again. So maybe your ITECH 100 folder. And that's where I'll put it. And hit OK. And so the new copy of the file will open up in a new tab, and you'll be able to edit this. This will be your file. So I'm going to close the other version of it, and then I'm going to move the tutorial over onto my other screen so that I can see what I'm doing. So we found a lost animal, and we assume it's a cat. It isn't a cat, but we still want to make some flyers so that the owner of this pet can come and claim it. So let's make this look good. So the first step is to, when you're making a flyer, you want to use as much of the page real estate as you possibly can. When you're writing a letter, it's really standard to just have 1-inch margins, but let's go a little bit more narrow for this one. So you go up into File, and we want to go down to Page Setup. And what we're going to do is we're going to go through here and change all of these to 1/2 inch instead of a full inch. That'll claim an entire inch, both vertically and horizontally, for the whole document. And hit OK. Oh yes, and then back in Page Setup. Also, let's flip it to landscape because that'll fit the content that we have here a little bit better. So that's like the difference between having a piece of paper up this way and then flipping it 90 degrees. Okay, next what we want to do is center all of the text. So one way to do this is just to click and drag to select all the text. And then another way you can do it is to hit Edit and hit Select All, and that will select all of the text as well. And our alignment tools are right here. They're a very commonly used tool, so they're right on the regular button bar. So Center Align is right here. And the keyboard shortcut is to hold Control, Shift, and hit the E key. But we'll just use the button. It's a keyboard shortcut I never even bothered to memorize because it's just not that often that you have to center text. So now let's start kind of formatting our text. Let's start with the first line. Now, an interesting thing that you can do is depending on the number of clicks you use, you can select different parts of the text. So if I double click on a word, it'll select that word. If I triple click on a word, it'll select the entire paragraph. And remember, a paragraph is any block of text that ends with an enter key. So if you hit the enter key, it creates a new paragraph. I know it seems like this isn't this is what Google Docs recognizes as a paragraph, so we'll use the same terminology. So we'll select this text with a triple click, 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 click. we'll go up into the text size and we'll increase it to 48. Nice and big. This is a flyer after all. Now we'll select the rest of the text. So what you can do is you can actually triple click and then keep holding the mouse click and drag down, or you can just click and drag to select just all of this text. And then we'll bump this up to 36. So everything's kind of big, everything's kind of filling the page. Now let's play around with some colors. So we want to pick colors that are going to complement each other, and the default color palette is actually pretty good at doing this. Most of these colors will work pretty well together. So let's select the second paragraph, and we'll make it kind of a darkish blue color. So we'll go with this dark blue 2 color. Next, let's select the rest of it, all this, and we'll try out this dark orange color right here. Dark orange 2, right there. Now, so we've got kind of blue and orange. Those kind of oppose each other on the color wheel, so they actually complement each other quite nicely. They're considered true complements. So let's do something else. Let's make sure that you have this entire paragraph selected by triple clicking it. Click, click, click. 3 clicks. And we're going to add some formatting to this to make it look nice. So we'll go up into Format, and we'll go to Paragraph Styles, and we want to go to Borders and Shading. So we want all 4 borders on, so we're going to put a box around this paragraph. We're going to maybe bump it up to 2.25 points. Now, when they talk about like 11-point font or 5-point font or 2.25 point thickness for a border, they're talking about some sort of unit of measurement that I'm not entirely certain. But so if I say 1 point is a pretty thin border, so we're going to make it a little bit thicker. We're going to make the border color kind of that dark blue color, dark blue 2, and we're going to make the background color of this text box a dark orange. And then click Apply. And then since we selected the entire paragraph, this bar actually extends all the way to the edges of the page, which is kind of nice. It makes it look nice, and makes the bar look good. Now, one problem that we have is we now have dark text on a dark background. And generally speaking, when this happens, you want to just change the text color to white. You could go with some other light color, but it's easier just to do this, and it's consistent with various style guides, is just to use white text on a dark background. It just looks nicer. Now, we've done all this stuff to this top line. Let's say we want to do all the same stuff on the bottom to kind of like bookend all of our content. Well, was a lot of steps, and I mean, we've already turned this orange, and it's going to be really difficult to get all of this down here. So there's actually a way to cheat and do this with just a couple of clicks to make all of this match this with using what's called the Format Painter tool. Now, I'm going to go through this a couple of times just to demonstrate it. I'll show you how it works once, and then I'll explain the process one more time. Select all this text. Select the whole first paragraph. Here's the Format Paint tool, or Paint Format tool. It looks like a little paint roller. Click on it. So now notice how it stays blue and stays selected, and my mouse has turned into the paint format icon. So now I'm going to click and select this whole bottom paragraph and let go. And then you'll notice all of the formatting from the top paragraph then gets copied down to the other one. So let's undo, and I'll do it one more time. Select this entire paragraph, the whole thing from beginning to end, by clicking and dragging or triple clicking, and paint format, and then select this entire bottom paragraph, and then it will apply that formatting to the entire thing. If you mess it up, just hit undo and try again. Just so that both of these look exactly the same. And again, the undo key is always your best friend. So the next thing we want to do is add an image. So I'm going to show you kind of an interesting way of doing this. First, let's click after the word collar here. I think that's where we're putting it. Yep. and hit enter to create a new paragraph. So we have a new line. This is where our image is going to go, because we're going to create our image kind of inline. I'm going to bring the tutorial back over here, and it's demonstrating a way that you can copy the image. So let's say I want to open this image in a new tab. So right in line with the text, the link to this image is also towards the top at the beginning of the tutorial. So I have it here. It's a picture of a cat. Obviously, it's not a cat, it's a possum, but I once saw a possum in the Twin Cities. It was the strangest thing. I didn't think that they ever went into the cities. But check this out. So I have this picture of this image on here, and what has happened in recent years as operating systems have become more integrated and more advanced, you can actually do these kind of cool operations just without having to, let's just really intuitively. So for example, this image, I want to paste this into my my flyer here. I can actually just right click on the image and hit copy image, and we'll take all of that image data, take it off this web page or off of my web browser, and copy it into my system clipboard, which is just a piece of memory that my system leaves aside for moving things between one file and into another file, from one location of a file to another one. And you can put kind of any data you want in there, usually text or images, but this is one of the big ways that I use it. So let's take that. Now that I have that image in my system clipboard, I can click here so that my insertion point is between these two lines, and hit Control V on my keyboard, and it'll paste it. The other way you can do it is hit Edit, Paste, but you may have to install a browser extension to be able to do that. I can't remember how exactly it worked. So there we go. Now our image is in the file. You'll notice, of course, that it's too big. It's taking up one entire page. If I let's make that a little bit bigger. Let's zoom out to say 50%. You'll notice that it's taken up one entire page, and it's moved our entire flyer down to 3 pages. A 3-page flyer is not conducive to grabbing attention. So when you're going to resize this and make it smaller, one thing to remember is that, so if you click on it, you'll notice a couple of things happen. One, these little handles appear around the option, around the image. And two, you get some new tools that appear right up here. You can replace the image. You can open up an image options tool bar, and you can crop it. We're not going to do any of those things. We're just going to use these handles to resize it. So we're going to grab this corner handle and pull it in a little bit, and then keep pulling it in a little bit at a time until all the text fits back on the main page again. You actually have to go pretty small to do it, if I recall. There we go. Once you have all the text on one page, you're good to go. Just for fun, let's crop it a little bit. Let's bring this in here. Let's bring this in here. One important thing to remember when you're cropping an image is that, let's zoom in a little bit here. Let's make it fit. There we go. None of this image data is actually lost. All of it is still in the image, so you could uncrop it if you wanted to. It's just hidden from view. So now if we hit the crop button again, the crop is made permanent, and I keep using Control Zoom to do this, but I know that doesn't work, and I keep forgetting. So let's go to like 100% zoom out. There we go. And we'll make this a little bit bigger again, just so that it fills more of the screen. So a couple of different ways that you can edit a file or edit an image inside of a file. That's it. That's this one sorted and completed. And so how we'll submit this, you might want to change the name of the file to flyer. I'm going to call mine run through so that I know to delete it from this video. Once you're done, once you've reached this point and the flyer is complete, you can submit it. So this is how we'll do this. You'll go up into the Docs Tutorial 3, where I have it open in my Canvas tab, and then I'll hit Submit, and then go to Google Drive. And then once again, go to my ITECH 100 folder, and then find my flyer run through file. There it is, January 27th, that's today, link. And boom. It says that the URL is, I hit Submit Assignment, and it's done. And that's it. I hope that you found this interesting, and look forward to the next tutorial.